I suppose it's finally time I did a review for Boruto chapter 38. So, over a week has passed since that absolutely world-changing chapter finally dropped. It was literally history-making. It was one of the largest events to happen in the entire Naruto franchise, and I saw it coming. I saw it coming a mile away, but no matter what I did, no one could possibly prepare themselves for what that chapter presented to us. And I think I don't even have to look at what you guys had to rate this chapter. Obviously we're going to anyway, but I already know it's going to be 5 stars because I have to give it 5 stars as well. It literally had everything. Ikemoto's art improved significantly by his standards in this chapter. His Susanoo in this chapter, it looked like Kishimoto's Susanoo. I have to give him a round of applause. I'm not a huge fan of Ikemoto's art, as I'm sure a lot of you are already aware, but I have to give him props for this chapter. He did a very, very good job by his standards. But not just the art was great, the content we got was absolutely unbelievable. And I always say, if a chapter is memorable, is going to be memorable for years and years and years to come, it's going to be a legendary chapter, I have to give it 5 stars. And for someone to say that this chapter is not going to be legendary and memorable for years to come, then I don't know what to say for you. I think you need a little bit of checking, because this is, like I said, one of the largest things to happen in the entire Naruto franchise. This also just so happens to be the largest margin for a 5-star chapter I think I've ever seen since we started doing the Senpai Stars rating system. 94% of you guys said that this was a 5-star chapter. Nobody said it was 1 star. Usually you've always got that one little troll who comes in and says there's a 1 star. No. This chapter was that good that even those little trolls had to sit back and think, no, I don't even think I could rate it that low. So 94%. I don't know if we're ever gonna see a percentage that high again with the Senpai Stars system. One thing I will have to say though is the way Naruto bowed out of the story for the time being. Obviously, now this is actually going back to the flash forward that we see. What we got, was it like 3, maybe 4 years ago now, when Kawaki said, "I'll send you to where I sent Lord Seventh," and everyone was proclaiming that Naruto is dead. Well, now we finally got to see Naruto's death. Now we've got confirmation, which a lot of us did see coming, that he's not dead, he's just sealed away. But, and this is not negative at all, I can't wait to see this in the anime. God knows how many years I'm going to have to wait to see this fight, but I can't wait for it. I don't care how long it's going to take. It's going to be incredible in the anime, and I think it's one of the things that manga sort of struggles to portray, because although, I mean, I say this and it just doesn't quite make sense in my head when I think about it, because I genuinely shed a tear in my live reaction. If you guys haven't seen that, I genuinely shed a tear. However, I still don't think it was as emotional as it could have been. That's where the anime kicks in. This scene in the anime, I want to see it so bad, but at the same time, I know I don't want to see it again. I don't have to go through this all again. The next chapter is going to be bad enough, seeing everyone's reaction to it all. Hinata's reaction, Boruto, Himawari's, the entire village, the Kage, everyone. That's going to be sad enough in manga form, but seeing it in the anime, I don't know if I'll be able to take it. That being said now though, I think with Naruto out the picture, which is something I've sort of wanted for a while, because I do think it's going to make things much more interesting. But with Naruto out the picture now, I think we are 100% now set up for the time skip. I think we'll have one little mini arc sort of going through the aftermath of what's going on, a new Hokage being selected, all of that type of jazz. But by the end of the year, I think, or in the new year, I think we'll be having our time skip. KSF Superstar says that Naruto fans are butthurt right now, but these things need to happen to make the show a lot more interesting. Right now, the village is vulnerable. This is the perfect time for Kara to destroy it, if they were interested in it to begin with. And that's just going on with what I just said. This is now the perfect setup for the time skip, because with Naruto out of the equation, it all lies on Sasuke and Sasuke's students, Boruto and potentially Kawaki. Now, in order for the time skip, if you think back to the original Naruto series, we got the time skip when Sasuke left Konoha and the Akatsuki were after Naruto. Because that was a perfect reason for a time skip, because Jiraiya had to take Naruto away to make him stronger enough to get Sasuke back and defend himself against the Akatsuki. Now, with Kara after Boruto and Kawaki and Naruto out the picture, so that's one demigod or god that they no longer have on their side. And with Sasuke having restrictions, obviously with his time, space and ninjutsu, he's always never really going to be at full % chakra, meaning he has to bring Boruto and Kawaki as well into his shape of mold to defend the village as well as themselves. So that's the perfect reason for Sasuke to take them away and train them before Jigen and Kara and all of those come in to then come and attack Konoha in order to proclaim and get back Boruto and Kawaki. Also, we've still got Momoshiki to join the story. All these things, they need to train Boruto and Kawaki, and this is the perfect time for them to do it. But before we jump into the time skip, like I touched on, and maybe I'll have to make this into a completely separate video at a later date, but we need a new Hokage now. I feel like a lot of people haven't really talked about it that much, but we need a new Hokage now. It's not going to be Tsunade, I don't think. Kakashi is who I think will be the new Hokage, but you've got other candidates like Shikamaru could become the new Hokage. I think he'd suit it quite well. Sasuke is the strongest, but does he have those Hokage qualities? Not really. I don't think he does. You've got Konohamaru. We all know that the fairy tale would be to have Konohamaru become Hokage, but realistically, has he done anything to earn that title? You can argue no, not really. And I think Kakashi is the one that will end up taking it, because he's been Hokage before, albeit for a very short period of time in a peaceful land. But like I said, he's a war hero. He's extremely strong. Maybe not as strong as he once was, but he's had experience being Hokage. He's well respected. And the big giveaway, in my opinion, is if you think back to the beginning of this year when that Shonen Jump Manga Plus app released and Ikimoto was interviewed, and he was asked, I believe, about Kakashi or some of the older characters, and he said something along the line, and I'm just paraphrasing here, that no one has seen Kakashi yet in the manga, and he was sort of hinting on that, and he said, well, just watch out for when Kakashi does reappear in the story, because it's going to be very, very interesting, and I can't wait. And that was when people were thinking, wow, is he Kashin Koji? Something like this? But now it all makes sense. That Kakashi's finally going to reappear in the story, and you bet it's interesting because he's going to be the new Hokage, but also old Hokage. He's going to do a Hiruzen, basically. It's also quite symbolic as well when you think about it, because obviously Hiruzen had to take over from one of his students to go back to being Hokage. Well, Kakashi's going to have to take over one of his star students, who just so happens to be the son of the previous star student that Hiruzen was under, and now Kakashi's going to take over that and become Hokage again. It follows on. It all works, and I think that makes the most sense. Alvin Anis chips in and says that Ishiki's identity reveal was beautiful, and I can't wait to see how Boruto will act knowing his father is sealed. And yes, I touched on that as well. That next chapter is going to be a heartbreak seeing everyone's reaction, but not just Boruto's reaction. How is this going to take Kawaki? Now, I was starting to think, is Kawaki going to sort of go down a similar road to Naruto somewhat? Because if you think about it, they're clearly trying to build parallels between Naruto and Kawaki, the same way they're trying to do Boruto and Sasuke, but there's going to be obviously slight variations between the two. But if Kawaki is viewed upon as the reason for Naruto being gone by the rest of the village, will it cause him to be alienated, and will that cause him to go back to Kara at some point or something along those lines? Will it mess with him emotionally and mentally? Because if you think about it, Naruto was blamed for being at fault for Minato, the current Hokage, going, dead, gone. And then he was branded as this monster and the reason for everything, and he was tarnished and emotionally bullied, essentially. Well, is Kawaki going to be the same? Is Kawaki going to be viewed as the reason for Naruto, the current Hokage, no longer being around? And is he going to be carrying that burden with him forever as he grows up in the Leaf Village? And will he be have that tarnish on his name and be viewed as a demon and as a monster in the village? And is that what's going to turn him? Is that going to be what Naruto could have been? Ben's Club says, it was great, I loved it. It only gets better and better from here. By the way, what is your thoughts on any relationship between Boruto and Sarada coming soon? It's a very interesting topic to bring up after the chapter. I'm not a massive shipper. I ship a few couples here and there in certain series and whatnot. Boruto and Sarada is probably like my go-to ship. I'm not overly bothered about it. But it would be interesting to see if Ikemoto actually brings this as an integral part of the story, or like in most Battle Shonen cases, he just leaves it for right at the very, very end, because obviously the Japanese, they're very aware that shippers run rampant in the community and they are a huge source of revenue. So if you sort of cancel off a ship early doors, you do potentially run the risk of losing some revenue from fans and losing fans. So it's usually why Battle Shonen leave it to the end. However, I do respect it and hope that they bring it forward at some point and make it an interesting part of the story. I think it would be very, very interesting and it'd work quite well. Also, I suppose as I was talking about Kawaki and what this could do to him and the time skip as well coming soon, I want to talk about Kawaki and the time skip, because is it as blatantly obvious as it seems? It's easy to just point the fingers at Ishiki and say, that's not Kawaki in the time skip, that's Ishiki. I did the same. I believe I said it in my live reaction. Is it, however, just too obvious? Is it too obvious to be like that? I think one of the main things I've been saying about the Boruto manga when I'm trying to preview it each month lately is that you always have to think outside the box when it comes to the Boruto manga, because it's just, you never know what to expect. You have to expect the unexpected with Boruto. And I don't know if maybe they're sucking this in to think it's Ishiki, and it might well be Ishiki, and it probably is Ishiki considering the language that's used. However, is it as simple as Ishiki takes over Kawaki's body as a vessel, willingly, unwillingly? What's the story behind it? How does it happen? Is it going to be as blatantly obvious as we think it is? Because like I said, expect the unexpected with Boruto. And the expected right now is that it's Ishiki, but it's not unexpected, so can we expect it? I don't know what to think of that. I want to pass on to you guys. How obvious and how likely do you think it is, and how simple do you think it is that it is just confirmed that's Ishiki in the time skip? Like I said, I think it is Ishiki. How it comes across, I don't know. I want to ask you guys that. How much are we being tricked and how much of it is the truth right now, do you think? Oh my god says, it was amazing, and this probably means that the time skip is going to happen very soon, and since Jigen is now going after Boruto, is now the perfect time for Sasuke to train him for the next 3 years, like I said. And keep in mind that we're 3 years away from the battle that takes place between Boruto and Kawaki. Everything is starting to come together and make sense now. I also want to see Boruto use the Jogan as well soon in the manga. There is so much I want to talk and speculate about, and it would be cool if we can talk about this more in depth. Well, oh my god, like I said, I've gone over some of the time skip thing, but the Jogan is an interesting one because it's reappeared again in the anime, albeit very briefly again, and it sparked the whole discussion again of when will we see it in the manga. Well, now that it seems that this Karma Kawaki arc, whatever you want to call it, is coming to a close, and the focus is not necessarily taken off Karma, but I think it's safe to say that including the Jogan in the arc we're having right now, or just had, would sort of take the shine off the main focus of it, which obviously was the Karma Seal. We were learning more about the Karma Seal and all that type of stuff, and Kara and Jigen. But now that that's sort of out of the way, I think maybe we could then see Jogan being in the manga very soon. Now, if you think about it, there's one common theme with Jogan and how it's appeared. Obviously, it appeared in the fight against Momoshiki and Otsutsuki-related appearance. It appeared in front of Urashiki, another Otsutsuki-related appearance. But we've got the Nue arc. Now, I believe this could be me being tricked by the internet. You know what they say, don't believe everything on the internet. But I want to say it was confirmed that Nue has some links with Kaguya's dimension. And if that's the case, then boom, another Otsutsuki-related appearance. Now, when Boruto comes into contact with Jigen, or more specifically Ishiki Otsutsuki, will we then finally see the Jogan in the manga? Because I believe that is going to be when it's appeared, and I'm sure it'll be in front of everyone, and that's finally when we'll see everyone's reaction to the Jogan. And I can't wait, because it's clear that they're trying to foreshadow the Jogan quite a bit in the anime, but they're heavily restricted with what they can do with it. So sooner rather than later, I think we will see the Jogan in the manga, and we're finally going to just have heaps and heaps and tons of information offloaded onto us at that point, or at least I hope so. And I think I'm going to finish off with this comment, because I found it extremely interesting, as it's a complete opposite of what the common consensus surrounding this chapter from what we've seen so far is, and it's ICT Master 1 says, Boruto's biggest problem is creating tension requires disrespecting the original series, and this chapter is a perfect example. I get it's not Naruto's story anymore, so it will have to be removed at some point, but I think it's just way too soon, and it should have been done with a much more respectful manner. Now, I respect your opinion, and I love getting different opinions on the channel. That's why I do these sort of discussions with you guys, so we can get everybody's opinions. And that's why I included in this, even though I know so many people will disagree with you. I myself do disagree with you, however, not entirely. I do respect your opinion, and I'm glad you've shared it. I don't think it's too soon, because when you think about it as in terms of a number, 38 chapters does feel very soon. We're only a couple of arcs in, but when you consider that the double pages that we get, so you sort of like, instead of being on chapter 38, we're probably more in the 70s, close to the 80s chapter wise. And then you've also got the fact that Boruto is going to be a much shorter series than Naruto was. So I believe if they do go off the amount of volumes that they said they have planned, then we're already coming close to 40% complete, I want to say, in the series. I think they said they want to have 30 volumes actually. We're on volume 9 coming out soon. So, and this chapter that we just read will be involved in volume 10, I believe. So at that point, we're already a very, very large chunk into the series. So I think now Naruto had to go out slightly early doors, in my opinion, because like I said, it's not Naruto's story anymore. Now, do I think it could have been done in a more respectful manner? Not necessarily more respectful. Like I said, I think when this happens in the anime, that's when you'll get the full force of how big and emotional and hard-hitting this scene is. Like I said, maybe the manga, Ikimoto's art, a couple of different contributors could have happened towards this that maybe took away some of the feel about it, in my opinion. So, although I do disagree with you, I respect your opinion, and I do see sort of where you're coming from. However, I do think it's a necessary sacrifice for the Boruto story to really flourish and carry on and take that big leap forward for Boruto and Kawaki in the next generation as characters. But still, thank you to everyone leaving your comments. I do apologize I didn't get to cover everybody's comments. I mean, you guys absolutely adored this chapter, so did I, and there was so many amazing comments to go through. I tried to pick out a wide variety of different topics that we could cover. But if you did enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're not already to become a member of the Senpai Squad. Really trying to push it 3k by the end of the year, if that's alright with you guys. As always, leave your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. I'll be seeing you guys in another video very soon. But until then, peace. おびき寄せられた神々の化身恐れを知らぬ剣が貫く目指す場所とはまだ見ぬ定め近づいてくる決戦の時